from the local station. This is Weather Authority Weekday.
Well, good Tuesday morning, everyone. Meteorologist Chris Holtzman here. Hopefully your week is going well. And weather-wise, well, we saw another morning with fog across our area. And one thing to note as well is that we are tracking the potential once again for some fog over the next couple of nights. Let's quickly pull up the graphics full. And what I will do is I'll put the computer into play mode. But what we're looking at once again is the potential for some fog overnight tonight. And it could be dense in some spots. A live look right now, there's Julington Creek showing more sunshine today. And we are expecting that across our area. Also over to portions of Julington Creek, we're looking at 65 degrees. And then over to St. Johns County as we advance World Golf Village. How about that? More sunshine there. A beautiful day out there with temperatures already in the 60s. And then we are tracking over into the downtown Jacksonville camera. More cloud cover here across Duval County. But for the most part, again, we are looking dry. A temperature right now of 67 degrees. And there's a look at St. Augustine. More sunshine there in St. Johns County with the temperature now. How about that? 70 degrees across the area. Now let's break down what's happening because Jacksonville International, we had a temperature yesterday in the 70s. We're looking at 67 right now, so it should be another very warm day out there. We do have a dry front off to our northwest, but high pressure's in control. That's keeping our weather mainly dry. There's some rain across South Florida, but that activity will stay away from us as there's a trough of low pressure offshore, and then that front to the west, it is a dry front. That will eventually move into the region as we head into the next couple of days. Again, we're not expecting any rain with that front. Temperatures, though, depending on the sunshine, look at Waycross. We're at 59 degrees. It's 63 in Brunswick, 67 in Jacksonville, mid-60s in Orange Park, 70 in St. Augustine. We have Palatka at 65, and it's 68 now in Lake City. So where we're getting more sunshine, temperatures are noticeably warmer. It is a light wind as well, and that light wind allowed fog to develop this morning. We had a dense fog advisory into St. Johns County points west. That did not include Jacksonville, but for the most part, it looks like the northern areas we didn't see as much fog. Winds are gusting up to around 10 to even 15 miles per hour. And as we head over the next couple of hours, looking at our forecast into this evening, temperatures will climb into the 70s. Eventually, we'll be back into the 60s. And it should be mainly clear with fog developing a bit later. But temperatures for the day today, you can see our forecast. And well, it is a warm one out there. So temperatures are running about 10 degrees or so, even 15 degrees above normal, with high temperatures well into the 70s to near 80 degrees. So Palatka right around 80 today, 79 in Green Cove Springs, Jacksonville and McClenny in the mid to upper 70s. Brunswick, we're at 74, 73. That's our temperature in Waycross. Now, we do have a moderate risk for rip currents once again along our coast, mainly the east coast of Florida into the Big Bend, and that's in association with some of that stronger wind offshore, allowing for those rip currents to be in the moderate range. So be aware of that. Otherwise, we'll see clouds mix in from time to time. It is a dry day. Then there's some of that fog as we head into Wednesday morning. So just be aware of that. Again, it could be dense. Might be hard to see what's in front of you. So just be aware of that. And our temperatures overnight, we do drop into the 50s. So it is a mild night. Average lows around 44 or so. And we are above that across our area with temperatures running around 10 to even 50 degrees above normal. Now, there's our low visibility into Wednesday morning. Again, the fog won't be widespread where everyone will see it, but if we do see it again, it will be dense, and you might need to plan extra travel time for the Wednesday morning commute. But again, for the most part, we are looking at some of that lower visibility. Now, into the day tomorrow, temperatures rebound back. Mid to upper 70s will be common. We'll keep that warming trend as we head over the next couple of days. In fact, by the end of the week, temperatures for most of us will be near 80, but some of us could be in the low 80s for tomorrow. Very comfortable out there if you are heading out for any outdoor activities. And Futurecast shows clouds mix in with some sunshine, but we are not expecting any rain across our area. Do you want to check in on the drought monitor? Because again, remember that deficit from last year, even though according to the books we don't have much of a deficit right now, we need to factor in that 10 to 15 inch deficit from the end of the year. And that's why east of, we'll say McClenny, and then including Brunswick, we're in a moderate drought. And then west of there, where you see some of that gold, that is a severe drought. And that's indicating that the rainfall deficit is quite noticeable out there. So again, we certainly could use the rain. Do we have any in the forecast? Well, as we advance our map here over the next couple of days, our temperature forecasts and upper level winds show we're relatively dry. That colder air will stay to the north. So as we see some warmer temperatures around, well, that's going to allow some moisture to develop mainly north and west of our area. But most of the rain, again, is north and west of Jacksonville. How about that into Georgia, portions of Alabama, into Tennessee, where several inches of rain could fall, but here in Florida and Georgia, very dry. So again, this dry pattern will persist across our area. In fact, looking at our forecast, well, there you go. As we head into Wednesday, the area of high pressure is right over us. Same thing for Thursday, and then as we head into the weekend, by the way, there's Friday showing that southerly wind. That front to our north and west will bring the chance of a couple of showers by the weekend. We'll have to watch the timing of that front. A faster front would mean slightly cooler weather on Sunday. If the front slows down a bit more, that could lead to warmer temperatures on Sunday. Saturday looking warm regardless, but we're still watching the speed of that front. Again, keep in mind that disturbance is all the way across the country, so we still need to watch the speed of it, and then we'll be able to tell you exactly what temperatures will be like. Watch what happens here. You can see into Saturday, we are ahead of that front, and that southerly wind will bring those warmer temperatures around and even into Sunday. So we'll be watching that very closely. Not looking like a lot of rain by any means, and it looks fairly spotty in nature. Pretty typical pattern we've seen with these fronts even into last year. They really are moisture starved and move a little bit more rapidly. So we'll keep you updated on that. The bottom line, though, is the warmer temperatures are here to stay. In fact, look at our forecast. As we head into Thursday and Friday, those warmer colors around, you can see that front moving in from the west. So there's Saturday showing warmer temperatures. Now, this model here has the front already behind our area on Sunday. Some of our other computer guidance actually delays the front and does not cross the front across our area until the afternoon, which would lead to warmer temperatures. So this is a slightly cooler model solution. But we'll keep you updated on that once again based on the timing of it. So in terms of our daytime highs, look at these numbers. Average high is 65. We'll be about 10 to 15 degrees above that through at least the first half of the weekend. In fact, near record highs are possible by Friday and Saturday. So Mother Nature is certainly on a different calendar, but then indications are we do see cooler temperatures arrive by next week. You can see that moisture as we track our moisture forecast moving in from the south by the middle to the end of the week. That brings in slightly higher humidity, and you'll notice that we are tracking, once again, some warmer weather. You can see that front clearly on our map, showing some drier air eventually moving in by the second half of the weekend into next week. Behind that front, by the way, that will usher in cooler weather and also dry weather to our area as we advance into the next couple of days. Now, in terms of our forecast, you will see right around 75 today, upper 70s on Wednesday and Thursday. And then by Friday and Saturday, highs are near 80 degrees. We're right around 80 on Saturday. A 20% chance of a shower. Even into Sunday, we might need to keep that 20% just to see based on the timing of that front. Noticeably cooler by Monday, though. We'll have temperatures near 60, and then overnight lows will be in the 50s for the most part, which is about 10 to even 15 degrees above normal. Now, I do want to talk about a story that has state implications right now, and that has to do with lightning. So what I'm going to do, we'll pull this up because this is a new report. Now, remember, we said that Florida was the lightning capital of the world. Well, there's actually a new state that dethroned Florida for that title. And as we pull up the video, I'll read exactly what that report was. And if we can pull that full screen, that report that we had shows Oklahoma, already known for its place in Tornado Alley, now has a new weather distinction. It's now the state with the highest concentration of lightning in the country. So the new ranking bumps Florida off the top spot in lightning strike density. Now, a group that monitors lightning strikes called Advanced Environmental Monitoring is out with its 2025 lightning report. And weather monitors found Oklahoma had 73 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes per square mile last year. And a lightning scientist with the group says the Great Plains region of the U.S. is becoming more of an active area for intense storms. Now, the states behind Oklahoma and lightning density are Florida, Louisiana, and Kansas. And also from that report, something interesting is the top states. Once again, we had Oklahoma at the top position with 73 flashes per square mile. The top county by flash density is Kay County, Oklahoma. That led the nation with 123 flashes per square mile. The peak lightning day is June 15th. That was our most lightning intense day of the year, with 929,000 flashes recorded nationwide. And in terms of airport impacts, Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta was the world's busiest airport, of course, contended with more than 10,000 lightning flashes, and 8 of the 10 busiest U.S. airports experienced their peak lightning day during the height of the summer travel season, of course, leading to those travel delays. Chicago's Millennium Park was exposed to more than 11,000 lightning flashes, more than any other top visited U.S. landmark, and half of the nation's most visited landmarks experienced peak lightning between June and August, of course, when the visitor count is the highest. And among the nation's 10 largest stadiums by seating capacity, the 3 with the highest lightning exposures were Tiger Stadium, Kyle Field, and the Cotton Bowl. All SEC venues, and Neyland Stadium experiences peak lightning on September 4th, within days of hosting the University of Tennessee's second football game of the season. So pretty interesting there with regards to our lightning strikes. And you might be wondering, well, how does lightning develop? So I'll quickly show this, and then I'll also tell you about some lightning safety. We have a great video on that today. And of course, we'll talk more about this as we get into the warmer months with lightning across our state. But we have warm air rising, and that produces storm clouds. Now, when those clouds get high enough, our ice particles and water droplets will collide in the cloud. You see that there as the drops are falling and the ice is going up, and those collisions cause positive and even negative charges in the cloud. So what does that mean? Well, the cloud top equals positive, the bottom is negative, and the ground under the cloud is positive. And the way we know charges work, well, the charges, the flow of it, energy from the negative charge meets the leader from the positive charge, and that's how we get a flash. So pretty interesting information with that. And you'll notice again that charge separation is key to lightning developing across our area. Now, we do have great information on lightning safety from the National Weather Service, and that video will explain kind of what to do if we do see storms coming. And of course, we'll brief you more on this in the spring, but I do want to show you that, how it relates to the story. So here's the latest from the National Weather Service.
Hey guys, Leanne at the National Weather Service. There are a lot of myths out there about lightning, and did you know it can strike you in ways you never thought possible? You could get struck walking your dog, or even just standing on your porch. The fact is, lightning is more dangerous than you think. And just to let you know, lightning can strike the same place twice. Lightning strikes the United States about 25 million times a year, and of the hundreds that are severely injured, about 49 people die. Interestingly enough, lightning and tornadoes are similarly as dangerous and as deadly. A common misconception is that all lightning strikes are fatal. Good news is, that's not true. Researchers in the lightning safety community say that 90% of people struck by lightning survive. Of those that do survive, some are left with lifelong neurological problems. Also, a study published in the Journal of Neurologic Clinics state that the primary cause of lightning death is cardiac arrest. Basically, your heart and your breathing stops and you lose consciousness. Now let's move on to something even more striking. Lightning is a sudden discharge of electricity from the cloud, the ground, and the air. It can even occur in other instances like volcanic eruptions, but for our sake, we'll just stick to thunderstorms. True or false? Lightning only occurs underneath a thunderstorm. False. Ever heard of a bolt from the blue? Lightning can actually travel 10 miles or more horizontally from a storm. In 2001, 2 guys were playing football on a beach in New Jersey under sunny skies, when a lightning bolt from a thunderstorm offshore struck and killed one of them. Okay. You're probably thinking right now, I get it, lightning's dangerous, but how can I protect myself and my family from it? All right, let's go over a few steps. If you're expected to be outdoors, plan ahead. Check the latest forecast at weather.gov and click on the location that you're interested in going to. If there's a better weather day, that's a better option. When out and about, have a game plan on what action you'll take if lightning threatens. Have a shelter in mind of where you will want to go to. It needs to be a building with at least 4 walls, a roof, wiring, like a home, a school, a church, or an office building. But stay away from pipes, metal objects, showers, sinks, bathtubs, and electrical equipment such as stoves, radios, corded telephones, and computers. Another shelter would be any fully enclosed metal top vehicle. But don't even think about that golf cart. you wouldn't stand a chance. Let's say you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have any shelter. What do you do then? Well, my fellow Weather Service colleague and lightning specialist, John Jensenius, suggests if you're in a group, spread out. Avoid open areas. Try not to be the tallest object in the area, and do not be near tall or isolated trees. However, keep in mind there are no safe places outside in a thunderstorm. Watch for clues of an approaching or developing thunderstorm. If you hear thunder, the storm is already close enough that lightning could strike you, and you need to get to shelter immediately. Once in a safe shelter, stay there for 30 minutes after the last rumble of thunder. Puffy white clouds that don't change much shouldn't cause any worries. If these clouds start to grow upwards towards space, you should be prepared to take shelter from lightning. This is a thunderstorm cloud and you should seek shelter immediately. Now here are some common outdoor activities that people participate in, and you tell me if you would be safe from lightning. A day at the golf course. Watching a thunderstorm from your porch. Boating. Mowing your lawn. Whoa, that was enlightening. Now here are some real-life examples of what people were doing when they got struck by lightning in recent years. Some of these common activities might surprise you. Sheltering under trees, fishing, on a boat, riding a motorcycle, mountain climbing, hiking, football practice, hauling hay in a tractor, kids on bikes, standing in the doorway, taking out the garbage, mowing the lawn, inside talking on a landline phone, walking dog, standing next to a window, playing organ in a church, and doing something as simple as getting a book from their vehicle. As we like to say at the National Weather Service, when thunder roars, go indoors. For more information, go to lightningsafety.noaa.gov. Yeah, I gotta go.
Well, great information there on lightning safety. Of course, we deal with that in Florida, as we all know, and we'll talk about that more as we head into the warmer months, of course, as our storms start to become more frequent. So that's a look at your state and local weather. We'll be back after this break with a look at our national weather. Welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Chris Holtzman here. So we talked about our state weather, our local weather. Let's talk about weather across the country if you're traveling or just want to know what's going on. And really the big story, the warmth across the south, many spots already in the 60s and 70s, but across the northwest and northeast in the upper plains, temperatures generally are in the 30s and 40s across the area. So chillier weather is locked up to the north. And in terms of our setup for the day today, well, we do have an area of disturbed weather across Wisconsin moving into Detroit, Michigan there. You can see some of that icing, and that's as precipitation increases as the system moves into the region. Now, this same system will bring some icy mix, sleet, freezing rain, and snow to portions of New York State up into Canada there. So we do have a wintry mix spreads across the Great Lakes. And then this same system, a good snowstorm for portions of interior New England, including Vermont, New Hampshire, the Green Mountains there, the White Mountains up into Maine, and portions of New York State. So it looks fairly unsettled there. And then the more south you are, the warmer it is with that southerly flow, and that brings in just rain to areas of southern New England. By the way, icing is possible due to warmer air above the surface, and we get that, if you recall, remember last year we had some freezing rain, and that's a whole different discussion, but that's when you get just a little bit of warm air at the surface, and that allows for temperatures, if you're near freezing, to freeze on contact as the air, as the drop goes down, and that forms that icing. So icing is possible there. And then there's that area of low pressure as we just saw on the map. Precip quickly changes to snow this evening as warmer air above the surface erodes. Again, you just need a little bit of warm air to create sleet or even freezing rain. And our overall setup, of course, we can't forget about the Northwest, how active they've been over the past couple of days. A system will move into the Pacific Northwest, and that will bring snow to the higher elevations and rain across portions of Seattle over to Portland and points west. And then eventually rain and mountain snow will continue this evening, shifting into Northern California. But really the setup that we have, and it's been this way for the past couple of weeks, as steady moisture flow associated with the system increases that rain and snow potential as that upper level system track is right over the northwest into the upper plains. Now across at least areas closer to home, mild flow continues with widespread above normal temperatures as that subtropical jet stream lifted to the north. And that includes us here in Jacksonville, also into Georgia, Brunswick. We're looking at some warmer temperatures ahead. Now into tomorrow, more of the same. So as we head into Wednesday morning, well, we are looking at another system moving into the Pacific Northwest, that upper level low, and that brings additional rainfall, more flooding, more snow. And then that rain coverage continues into the evening hours. In fact, a similar setup tomorrow to what we get today and the past couple of days. So we continue to see more rounds of rain and even mountain snow across the area. And there's a look at that upper level low, bringing even rain. Look at that to Arizona, also New Mexico and portions of Mexico. So widespread rain will impact the southwest United States. Could even bring some snow to the higher elevations in Arizona, also into New Mexico and Colorado, and even into Utah as well. And that low continues. Now our setup for the temperature tomorrow shows, again, more warmth across the southeast, across the central part of the country, as that polar jet stream is well to the north. So we'll conclude on this. We'll look at the next 3 days. Once again, we do have that system moving through the Great Lakes. As we continue, there's that area of disturbed weather Wednesday. Widespread rain moves into the southwest. And then we are looking at, as we head into Thursday, storms will be possible across the central United States as some of that warmer air interacts with that cooler air. That creates some instability, and there's the potential for some storms again across the central part of the country. So, of course, we talked about a lot of weather today, from our local weather with the dry weather to lightning safety, and really that report that showed that Florida, not the lightning capital anymore. However, it is strongly urged to caution this, that report noted that we've been very dry this summer. So we haven't had as much storms, which means not as much lightning. And that means, again, on a typical year, we likely will take that top spot. But again, it's just been abnormally dry across our area. And that's why the lightning strike numbers have been a bit decreased compared to normal. But of course, what lies ahead, we'll keep you updated on air, online, and on our weather app. Of course, we'll have the latest information coming up today at noon. But right now, I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday.
See why every day more people are choosing News4JAX, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.